Today I fucked up by knowing nothing about computers. Obligatory 13 years ago. I, 14 male, got a state-of-the-art HP Mini 210 notebook laptop for Christmas this year, running a brand new OS called Windows 7, a massive upgrade to the Windows XP I grew up with. I genuinely believed this was a top-of-the-line PC. My dad insisted this was the case, and I had no reason to doubt his wisdom. The specs for every computer I had in the past started with mega, and now computers are giga, which means that they are factually 2 billion times better. One day, my good friend, 14 male, came round early one morning and told me about this brand new concept of PC gaming. Apparently it's how people used to play games before consoles. We sat down side by side on this tiny laptop and eagerly downloaded an up-and-coming gaming software called Steam, where you could buy video games digitally. Bro, where's the disc? Eventually, via copper wire broadband, the application downloads. We make an account, and explore this candyland of video games. Some of these are classics, some of these we've never heard of before, and they all look amazing. We were skint teenagers, so naturally our eyes endeavored to the sale page, and what do we behold? Grand Theft Auto San Andreas for only £5, and the offer ends today. After about 20 minutes back and forth of, bro, you need to get this, and, bro, I need this, we decide to consult the elected head of my household, my mother. My mum is an anxious person to say the least. You mix that with technology and it becomes something nuclear. This was the era of sunglasses wearing hackers and security infomercials, so when I asked for her to put her card details online, she shut that down harder and faster than the recent housing crisis. But alas, after scouring the website for loopholes, we found that there was one last method. The fabled Steam gift voucher. The quest had begun. We searched far and wide in all of the local shops you'd find in South Wales on a winter's day. The Co-op, the Spar, even a one-stop to no avail. We pulled out the big guns and walked to the local supermarket, but the general consensus is, what is a Steam and is it dangerous? Almost defeated, we returned to the drawing board. We got technical. We're talking maps, graphs and charts, modern pioneers. And in our darkest moments we found hope. There was a game store in our local city. They had to have it right? The pressure was on. We were losing daylight and the kitchen clock was ticking louder than ever. We needed to move, and fast. We deciphered the hieroglyphs on the local bus stop and learned the ways of the modern bus commuter. We charmed the driver and he permitted us to board for a small fee. We journeyed to the legendary city of Newport, where dreams become a reality. Dazed and confused from the 15-minute commute, we stumbled from the station and hostility proceeded to the game store. We made it. Only 30 minutes before closing time. We nervously approached the counter and made direct eye contact to the equally nervous cashier. "Excuse me, do you happen to sell Steam gift cards?" We stammered. Absolute silence. Not a good sign. The despair began to kick in. "I'll have to check with someone else," retorted the steward of the game store. To our great fortune, another loyal lifetime employee popped his head round the shop door and belayed, "Ah, PC gamers are we?" We didn't want to get into the intricacies of how we were merely dipping our toes into this niche underground community. Instead we smiled and aggressively nodded. To our great surprise, the smallest denomination of Steam vouchers was £10, which is like £100 to a late 2000s teenager. But we had come this far, we doubled down and made the transaction without hesitation. This was official business and we acted as such. We thanked the ambassador of the business, and made it out of the store on wobbly legs. I looked down at my recent purchase in my clutched hand. What I held was power, unlimited potential futures which I could shape and guide via willpower alone. The Steam voucher. We make a return journey, barely able to contain our excitement. This was happening, absolutely nothing could stop us now. We explode through the front door of my parents' house and attack my laptop as if we were angry at it. We furiously and frantically typed in the magic letters on the back of the card into the redemption wizard of Steam, and we watched the credit transform from £0 to £10 via the infinite power of WAP Internet. We buy the game. We did it. This software is in my possession and no one could ever take it from me again. We knew we had one last step to this journey, and that was to download this game on 100 kilobits per second internet. ETA 3 hours. But what even is time to a teenager when the day's endeavors have inflated our egos to a level not unlike the Beatles at the peak of their fame? We chill out, decompress, drink some non-alcoholic wine to celebrate. We've earned this. 8:30 p.m. It's time. We grab 2 chairs and form the obligatory, hunched huddle, over the laptop and hit the long-awaited, launch, button. We're getting splash screens. At this point we're beaming at each other. It's working. The game fades in and we get our first objective, get on a bicycle. I eagerly hit the W key, the standard for moving forward in a video game. From here the troubles become apparent. The main character lurches forward and then freezes. The motion continues, but roughly at the pace of 1 step per 6 seconds. The game is juddering all over the place. The audio is slowed and deep. Passing cars sound like the screams of a tortured demon. We make it to the bike and the animation becomes a slideshow. At this point it's been like 5 minutes and we come to the realization that this isn't going to happen. The laptop didn't have the graphical power. We talk over the day's events, and despair quickly turned to hilarity when we realized all the effort we put in to get here today. In truth, it was a lot of fun, and it was truly one of those days where the journey meant more than the destination. We still talk to this day. I consider him a good friend still, even if life has done that thing where we're all mixed in our personal lives and we don't really see each other much anymore. But I will treasure that friendship and the memories of that day forever. Too long did not read. Got a new laptop, found game on sale. Spend a day's effort getting Steam credit and downloading a game for it not to run. Edit. Specified that it was a HP Mini 210 as you guys seem to be really invested in the technology here. Grin. It's just like that one time I did that thing and then that happened. GTA San Andreas? This was a great read, I enjoyed it thoroughly. This was me, but instead of a PC it was a Mac, and instead of 13 years ago it was last year. Steam and Mac iOS don't mix. A nice story of childhood gaming adventures. I hope someday you got a more powerful PC. Thanks for sharing. Today I fucked up by telling my girlfriend some shrooms weren't effective anymore. This happened 2 nights ago. We're both middle-aged. I'm pretty much a sober kind of person. I rarely drink. Didn't try pot until I was 50. But I tried shrooms about 3 years ago and it was pretty cool. So, true to my nature, I decided to go overboard and bought $200 worth. It was pretty dumb considering I rarely have impulses to do stuff like that. In that 3-year span, I've only done 2 sessions. So there was, keyword, there, a lot left. I'm sure you can see where this is going. So a couple of nights ago, I suggested we try some since she has never done them. She drinks casually, having a glass of wine most nights, and has a history of partying with her friends on occasions. She's tried pot a few times but says it's not for her. She was actually pretty excited about trying shrooms initially. Again, being me, when I got the shrooms years ago, I also bought a mortar and pestle and some capsules in order to make shroom pills, and I still had a few left, plus a bunch of bulk, uncrushed, dried mushrooms, all in a little Ziploc bag. I had initially measured the amount for the pills but had forgotten how much each capsule was. I think they were around 500,750 mg each? There were 6 left, so 3 for each of us. Being her first time, I thought we should start off with 2 each. We take them. After taking them, I looked up the expected time to feel anything because, again, I had forgotten. The internet said 30–60 minutes. We wait. An hour in, I was feeling some initial effects, which for me is a relaxed feeling with a kind of weighty, stuffy headedness. But she was saying she felt nothing. Okay, let's take the 3rd one. We do. Another 45 minutes and she's still saying she feels nothing. While I do feel something, it's pretty underwhelming. So I starting looking at how long they can be stored and be effective. I find one resource that was saying something like maybe 3–6 months. Well, it had been 3 years. They must just be super weak by now. So we start munching on the mushrooms like French fries, with her saying they taste pretty good and eating the majority. We're joking around. I'm feeling pretty giddy at this point and am laughing my ass off at pretty much anything. We eat and then head to the couch to relax. Now she says she's feeling something. We're both laughing and laughing. Another 20 minutes go by and she looks around and gasps, "OMG, all the pictures are 3D. Okay, cool, she's getting some neat visuals." More laughing and remarking about what we see. While I'm seeing some minor visuals, it's nothing crazy, weird shadows, 3D pictures, etc., but that's really it. For me, it was mainly just feeling really, super, relaxed and giddy, euphoric. I should take a second and note that I also looked up interactions that psilocybin might have with SSRIs because I take them. At least one source noted that SSRIs can decrease the effects of psychedelics. so I wasn't getting hit nearly as hard as she was. At his point, she starts sounding and looking a bit upset. This is really weird. I don't think I like this. Then she gasped and said, OMG. There's a huge, angry face in the sky outside. And looked legitimately fearful. I started holding her and saying how it's okay, it's just the drug. She calmed a bit but still looked unhappy. For the next several hours, I just held her and tried to be supportive and reassuring as she described seeing a lot of crazy imagery. We went to bed while she was still tripping, and I made the mistake of doing my usual thing of putting on Bob Ross to help me fall asleep. At this point, I was well on my way down from the high. She told me she was seeing all these angry animals in his paintings, a boar eating a deer, tarantulas, etc. I felt bad. She was pretty upset. I just held her until she went to sleep. In the morning, she said, God, I'm so glad that's over. Those are all yours, babe. Too long did not read. Told my girlfriend a bag of shrooms were too old to be effective and she ate half a bag and ended up having a bad trip for 4 hours. Edit. I thought I'd mention that it wasn't just the visuals that were getting to her. She was really unprepared for the emotional roller coaster you can get hit with on shrooms. She really didn't like that. Sometimes you fuck up and eat too many mushrooms. Sounds like she took it like a champ. I believed this story until you said they tasted pretty good. Man. They don't taste good. Fresh fuck knows what they taste like after 3 years. She seems like she was a good sport about it and didn't blame you. Next time you can just give her a THC pen that really has 5-MeO-DMT in it. I hear chicks absolutely love this trick. Just remember kids, you can always eat more but you can't eat less. Today I fucked up by accidentally entering the opposite gender's bathroom in my hometown Target. I, 21M, I'm a senior in college and traveled down to my hometown for 2 weeks to visit my family before the semester starts. I lived in my hometown since the age of 2 until I moved off to school in another state after high school. I visit home maybe 2 or 3 times per semester. I decided I was going to run errands and go shopping with my nana the other day, and one of our stops was at the local Target. Keep in mind, this was the Target I have practically grown up in. I have vivid childhood memories of the neon lighting going around the walls of the store prior to several renovations over the last decade and a half, so there was very little excuse for me to accidentally do what I did. My nana and I finished up shopping and headed towards the front of the store, when I realized I had to urgently take a shit. Something about being in big box stores always triggers a bowel movement. I've never been able to explain it. I told her to wait at the front or in the Starbucks next to us so I could go ahead and use the bathroom. I was in a hurry to make it to the seat, so I simply walked in, locked the door, and began scrolling through Reddit, as one does on the toilet. I was doing my business, and minding my own business, when I hear what sounds like a mother and young daughter walk in having a conversation. My first thought was, oh boy, they just walked into the wrong restroom. I then looked down at the stall next to me and saw small feet, with pink slides. I then immediately took another shit after coming to the realization that I was in the fucking women's restroom. Once I recognized my grave mistake, I sat there and began to sweat and panic. Holy shit, I'm going to get my head beat in by some old lady's purse today, I thought to myself. How in the holy fuck could I walk into the bathroom without looking at the sign? Sure, I hadn't been in this Target in 3 to 4 years, but why in the hell would I enter the women's bathroom like it was second nature? I texted my girlfriend and informed her of my predicament, asking what I should do. She made fun of me, of course. She says, you keep your head down, and say nothing. I thought, fuck that, I'm not letting anyone in here see my face. No one's going to see me at all. As I'm sitting on the toilet simultaneously laughing at myself and sweating bullets in recognition of my stupidity, another woman walks into the stall next to me, sits down, and rips. Fucking ass. This was easily a 7-second long fart. It reverberated off the concrete wall and I had to hold my laughter as to not be rude and to not expose my identity. Once she was done with her business, I kept peering through the cracks in the stall and listening for entrances. At one point, the coast was finally clear. I've never unlocked a stall and run out of a restroom faster than I did then. No one saw, or suspected, that I know of, and I ran to the men's restroom 6 feet away to wash my hands. I met my grandmother and told her we needed to leave quickly. Too long did not read. I accidentally entered the women's restroom in Target, realized I was not in the men's restroom, heard one of the loudest and longest farts I've ever heard, and ran out of there when the coast was clear without suspicion. Edit. Many people are saying I didn't wash my hands. If you read the story in full, I washed my hands in the men's restroom right after I got out of there. I'm a huge germaphobe and I wasn't about to drive home with shit on my hands. Honestly, it's better than the alternative of not making it and shitting in the store. Unless you shit directly on the bullseye of the Target logo. Then I think you win a prize. You don't have to lie. We know you didn't wash those hands. Dude. The same exact thing happened to me at a Target. Urgency can make you blow past the details. I only realized when a mom and daughter came in right after I blew up my stall. I was straight mortified and panicked. Much funnier now than when it happened. I then immediately took another shit after coming to the realization that I was in the fucking women's restroom. LMAO. I walked into a women's bathroom in a bar once. It was kinda crazy. I walk in, a look around the room goes silent. I am confused why the men's room was full of women. Then it dawned on me and turned around and ran out.